What's up guys, welcome to Brick Productions, and guys, today we're going to be taking a look at all of the Star Wars creations that were on display at Brickworld Chicago 2019. I'm currently standing at the Empire Leg display, and we're going to be taking a look at the MOCs that were on display at the Empire Leg setup, and then we're going to be moving on to the general MOCs that were on display, of course, at the convention, and then finally the Rebel Leg display. The first MOC that we were looking at is Obi-Wan's house. Now this one was created by Lego Hub Productions, or William. We've actually covered this one before at Brick Fair, North Carolina. So very cool build, definitely some interesting parts and techniques used here, and kind of a MOC that you don't really see that often, so definitely cool to see this here at Brickworld. Next is the Imperial Invasion on Scarif. Now this one was created by Matt, or the Brickwiz. Now this was actually a Empire-led collaboration MOC for Secret Missions of the Empire. This was also a MOC that we covered before at Brick Fair, North Carolina. As you can see, there is a TIE Reaper back there that was created by Jay, or Rich Boy Jay. So definitely cool MOC to see here at Brickworld. Next is a really cool Utapau MOC created by M5 Builds. Now, if we take a look at this one, you can see the really cool rock work and some wedging used in there, as well as some just generally interesting techniques. This is actually one of my personal favorites here at the display, just due to the uniqueness of the techniques and figure placement, such like that. Definitely a cool scene. Next is a collaboration MOC that was done by Lego Clone and M5 Builds, which is Geonosis. Now I think, if I'm not mistaken, is actually inspired from the Battlefront 2 map. So really cool scene here, some interesting vehicles and such like that. I really like it a lot with the figure placement, and again the vehicles. Just a really cool battle scene to look at. Next is actually one of my favorite MOCs that was here on display out of all the MOCs at Brickworld. Now this one was created by, once again, Lego Clone. We've actually, again, discussed this one before at Brick Fair, North Carolina, actually. But this is Hangar 94. Now this is the iconic scene where Han and the gang is escaping from Tatooine, or Mos Eisley rather, onto the Millennium Falcon. One of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. This next MOC is absolutely impressive with its size, vehicles, techniques, figures, and such like that. This one was created by Forever Lego Studios, and it is his Hoth MOC. Now, very iconic, very well done scene by many builders, but this one is kind of unique in its own way because of the techniques and, again, the vehicles that are used. I absolutely love this MOC. I could look at this for hours. It's so impressive. I'm actually building a Hoth of my own, so I definitely take a lot from this MOC. As you can see here, there's the backside, which is also a really cool detail added to the MOC, so hats off to Forever Lego Studios with this awesome creation. Next is the Battle of Abafar. Now this is a scene from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. If you remember, it was I believe it was the episode where Commander Gregor was actually introduced into the show. Everybody loves that clone trooper. He's absolutely awesome. But this is a really cool scene. Definitely some really cool techniques and interesting, unique parts usage here. Really like this MOC. Fantastic job by Lego Hub Productions. Next is the Battle of Ryloth. Now this one was created by Orm Fortis. Now this is a very interesting Ryloth because I haven't really seen one here. It kind of reminds me of like a Mimban scene. It looks like it's during the Imperial times of Ryloth, which is interesting. You just don't see that often, so a really cool MOC here done by Orm Fortis. Next is a Stormtrooper Mosaic. Now this one's definitely fitting for the Empire Leg setup, but this one was created by Noah, or H2 Brick. Some really cool stuff here. I have a lot of respect for the mosaics that are created at conventions. Next is another MOC created by H2 Brick, or Noah. This is the Slopes of Renoir. So this is a MOC that was inspired from the original OG Battlefront. So really cool to see this MOC at the convention. I have a lot of respect for these older type MOCs. We're now looking at another Renoir MOC created by Nick, or Radical Bricks. Now this is actually during Imperial times, so very interesting take on Renoir. This was a really cool MOC to look at, most definitely with the wall and the cool floor techniques, the terrain, the freeform. Everything about it is absolutely impressive. So Nick Radical Bricks did a absolutely amazing job with this MOC. Next is the Siege of Mandalore created by Gavin Productions. Now, I really like the Siege of Mandalore. Definitely reading about that, and I'm excited to see that pop into the newest Clone Wars series coming out. Some really cool stuff here. Definitely an interesting depiction of it. and pretty accurate from what I've read about it so far. Some really cool parts usage and figures used in here. Really cool stuff created by Gavin. As you can see back here, he's got a whole backside to it, so definitely a cool build. And of course, it's not a Star Wars tour if there's not a Scarif MOC. And of course, there's a Scarif MOC here, but this one is absolutely amazing. As you can see, there is a trim in the middle of the MOC, which is just really cool to look at. You also have the waves in the water, the interesting tree technique that was used on this MOC. Very impressive. Next is the full minifigure, not scale, but a giant Death Star that can fit a lot of things in it, multiple levels. Now, what's cool about this one is, if you guys have been around my channel for a very long time, this was actually in the Brickworld Alabama Star Wars tour. And I think it was actually the 2017 one, so it was actually one of my first ever videos. So this was just really cool to see at Brickworld. Really refreshing. But I guess I'll talk about the MOC a little bit more. What is cool about this is all the different levels. There's definitely inspirations from the Clone Wars that you can see there with the training facility. World of Lights, there's lights in this bad boy that just lights up the entire thing. The super laser actually goes off. Just some really cool stuff here. I mean, this was one of my favorite MOCs on display at Brickworld. Next is another Hoth MOC. Now, I'm not exactly sure who built this one, but what's really cool about this Hoth MOC is it has a track that runs right in the middle of it that has snow speeders going through it. So it's a definitely cool MOC to look at. Kind of has like some train inspiration with it, with some moving objects and stuff like that. Next is the Imperial Cargo Shuttle. Now, this is the shuttle, of course, from the movie Rogue One. Now, this one was really cool. I've seen a few of these actually created, but this one's kind of unique in its own way with some of the different colors. If we keep going down the line here, that actually goes in chronological order. This one's called Hope. Now, this is the iconic scene where Leia gives R2 the Death Star plans, and then R2 goes down to Tatooine with C-3PO, and then we go to Mos Eisley, and this one's just really cool with different scenes and a lot of like different Easter eggs. You can see like the Imperials playing the band over there, some stuff in the cantina. There's some cool, unique figures into the MOC actually. You can see SpongeBob. There's actually like figures moving on it too, so it's a pretty cool MOC. It's a pretty cool MOC to look at. Next is one of my favorites. Now, this is a Imperial Hangar. Now, I'm not sure if this is like the hangar that actually like manufactures like AT-ATs or something, but this one is a definitely cool MOC to look at World of Lights, because the entire thing like lit up, and it kind of looked like one of those scenes from Rebels where they went to that vehicle facility. As you can see here, there are multiple different rooms and levels to this thing, so it's not just the hangar, it's actually there's like an interior to it as well. Some different details, some different rooms, and really cool scenes to see here. So it's just a really cool MOC, and it's why it's one of my favorites. Alright, so next is pretty interesting. So this here is actually Star Wars starfighters, but that has inspiration from World War II, if that makes any sense. But as you start looking at it, it does kind of make sense. So some of these are Star Wars starfighters, but they're just like mixed with like Star Wars markings and stuff. So here's like a B-17 with the Ghost markings and stuff like that. You've got the ARC-170 starfighter with the Japanese Zero markings. So just some interesting stuff here. There's a Dave Filoni. You got to give a shout out to that guy. Just some interesting stuff here. It's very interesting. I've never seen anything like that, but I think it's actually kind of cool. Next is at the Rublug table. Now, this is actually MOCs that are part of the Last Ropes collaboration that they did. A very impressive collaboration. This one was created by First Order Lego, and this is the Siege of the Capitol. Now, I think this is actually the last MOC, so I did a mistake by kind of going backwards with this story. But a really cool MOC here, some cool foliage that you don't really see here a lot in the US, so a lot of the Europeans that came over were able to get like the unique parts uses and stuff. So next, I'm not exactly sure who created this, I apologize, but this is a really cool MOC, part of the Last Ropes. This is kind of a MOC that reminds me of like a Vietnam War style urban warfare type MOC, which is really cool, and it's implemented with Star Wars, so it's kind of cool to see like inspiration from like real life events that happen with Star Wars. As you can see here, there's like a little cutoff part here that has like a makeshift like Republic base. So this is just like a really cool MOC capturing details and kind of telling a story throughout. So really cool stuff here. Next is a MOC created by the Brick Puke. Now this is really cool. One of my favorites of the collab, and this has a custom turbo tank on it. And that's probably the highlight of this MOC. I mean, this is just really cool MOC to look at, just mainly because of the turbo tank. Now, I'm not discrediting the actual MOC, but that turbo tank is awesome. Here is another Lacerop's mission MOC. Now, again, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly who built this one, but this is a really interesting MOC, because this one's actually the interior rather than outside with terrain and stuff. So some cool stuff there with some interesting parts. Next MOC is created by a really cool Norwegian guy named Olaf or Norlego, and this is once again a MOC, a part of the Lacerop's mission. So definitely a cool MOC here with the rock work and the kind of water running through the entire MOC, the little temple thing. So just a really cool MOC. Once again, another Lacerop's mission. This one's again created by another really cool guy and builder, Elven Ranger. Now this one is actually my favorite MOC from the Lacerop's missions, because this one is just, I don't know, this one's just really different. I mean, it's got the dark purple, which dark purple is a really just beautiful color, and I really like this one a lot. Another Lacerop's mission MOC. Now this one is created, I believe his name is Wyatt. I think he created this one. Now this one's cool because it kind of has like a break off of the MOC that has like a ravine that falls into nothing, which is, I think, the highlight of the MOC, and also just the cool like rock work on the side and the crane in the middle. This one is another Lacerop's mission MOC created by Lego Spencer. Now this one's interesting because of the Asian style temple in the middle, kind of creates that uniqueness, and then you have the Republic gunship that has the flamethrower attachment on the side, which you don't really see that often. So that's a very interesting depiction of how this MOC goes. This next MOC is created by Noah or H2 Brick. Now this one is cool because this is not really a battle scene. This is more of like a troop deployment patrol, I guess, and they're kind of, you know, deploying or mobilizing through a ravine. You can see the Valida squad kind of overlooking and making sure they're going on the right path and stuff. So a really cool MOC there. This next MOC is a Mimban MOC. Now, again, sorry, I don't know exactly who made this one, but I have a lot of respect for Mimban MOCs because I made one myself, and it's really cool to see other people making Mimban MOCs with all the trenches and stuff like that. This one is definitely hectic with the battle scene. There's a lot of stuff going on with the explosions and, so, you know, the spacecraft flying around. So definitely a epic battle scene going on here. These next set of MOCs are really cool because these are just little tiny scenes from each movie from the Star Wars movies in chronological order. So it first starts off at the Naboo, and then it goes on to Geonosis, and then we go to Kashyyyk from Revenge of the Sith, Scarif, scene from Solo, A New Hope, Hoth, Endor, the Rathtar escape, and then finally Ahch-To. And then lastly, we have a small Mimban scene, followed by the Last Jedi scene where Rey saw herself in that vision. Kind of an iconic scene from The Last Jedi. Not really a big fan of that movie, but definitely a cool MOC there. And then, of course, you have the trophy ceremony from A New Hope. And then we'll move on to the duel on Mustafar between Anakin and Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith. So definitely some cool small MOCs there. And so that will conclude the Brickworld Chicago 2019 Star Wars Tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like down below. And while you're down there, why not go ahead and leave a comment, because that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is Brick Productions, signing off.